Hello and welcome to this session. Learning Outcome LO5. Understand key international agreements related to environmental governance and climate change politics. International agreements play a crucial role in shaping the future of our planet. They provide the frameworks for global cooperation, ensuring that nations work together to tackle pressing environmental challenges. By understanding the key treaties and conventions that govern climate action and biodiversity protection, we gain insight into how policies are coordinated across borders and how collective action can drive meaningful change. Today, we will explore the most important international frameworks guiding environmental governance and climate policy and examine their impact on our shared global future. The United Nations plays a pivotal role in global governance. Its structure includes various agencies dedicated to sustainability. UNEP coordinates environmental activities and produces key reports. The UNFCCC Secretariat manages climate negotiations. Together, they form a backbone for international collaboration. The Paris Agreement is a cornerstone of climate governance. It aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. Countries submit climate plans every 5 years. While not legally binding, it enforces transparency. It shifted climate politics to a globally coordinated approach. The Kyoto Protocol set binding emissions targets for developed countries. It introduced carbon trading mechanisms. This agreement laid the foundation for today's carbon markets. However, it was limited by lack of participation from major emitters. Its impact on global emissions was modest. The UNFCCC is the umbrella treaty for climate negotiations. It defines global commitments to prevent dangerous climate change. It introduces principles like equity and common but differentiated responsibilities. The treaty underpins annual COP meetings. It sets a political and ethical framework for governance. The Convention on Biological Diversity aims to conserve biodiversity. It includes targets like the Aichi targets and the Global Biodiversity Framework. This agreement links conservation with sustainable development. The biodiversity and climate crises are interconnected. It highlights the importance of sustainable use. The Montreal Protocol is an environmental success story. It bans ozone-depleting substances and is universally ratified. The Kigali Amendment added controls on HFCs. This shows global cooperation can reverse environmental damage. Binding agreements with clear targets are crucial. Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals are influential. They encompass 17 goals, including climate action and clean energy. These goals integrate environmental governance into development agendas. They encourage linking environmental and social sustainability. They provide a global framework for progress. The Aarhus Convention links environment with democratic rights. It grants public access to environmental information. It allows participation in decision-making and access to justice. This strengthens accountability in environmental governance. It emphasizes transparency and public involvement. CITES regulates the international trade of endangered species. It works through a permit system to protect wildlife. This agreement supports biodiversity protection. It combats illegal wildlife trafficking. It ensures trade does not threaten species survival. The Basel Convention controls hazardous waste movement. It prevents developed countries from dumping waste in developing nations. This addresses environmental justice and global inequalities. It seeks to regulate hazardous waste flows. Enforcement remains a challenge in many countries. International agreements establish global norms for emissions reductions. They define responsibilities between developed and developing countries. They influence national laws and create accountability. These agreements drive climate finance. They shape international relations and geopolitical tensions. The UN system includes several agencies focused on sustainability. UNEP sets the global environmental agenda. The UNFCCC Secretariat manages climate negotiations. The IPCC provides scientific assessments. These bodies play central roles in sustainability efforts. Climate deals are influenced by power, money, and geopolitics. The North-South divide creates tension over emissions cuts. Major power blocks dominate negotiations. Domestic politics often spill into global talks. Climate finance serves as leverage in these discussions. Several organizations are vital to global environmental governance. UNEP, UNFCCC, and IPCC are key players. Convention secretariats support implementation and compliance. Multilateral development banks focus on climate finance. NGOs and civil society networks apply pressure and monitor progress. The UN sets global agendas and provides negotiation platforms. It establishes international law and facilitates knowledge sharing. The UN mobilizes climate finance and ensures transparency. It supports partnerships and promotes equity in governance. The UN acts as a global coordinator. COBs are the governing bodies of international treaties. They review progress and negotiate updates. They set future commitments in climate and biodiversity. COBs shape global governance and national policy. They provide platforms for collective action. UNFCCC COPs are central to global climate politics. They negotiate agreements like the Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. They set rules for emissions, reductions, and finance. They review progress on climate commitments. These COPs drive the global climate response. CBD COPs focus on biodiversity and conservation. They set global biodiversity targets and adopt new frameworks. They establish commitments for sustainable use and benefit sharing. These COPs guide national biodiversity strategies. They link biodiversity with climate and sustainable development. Animation MHGMA NHGM SAS Eneroj Pointure. They establish frameworks for collective action. Animation MDUPOB G Spedi Anchor. They create transparent processes for reporting and review. Animation LXCD Zoe QBDXFOVQ Anchor. In conclusion, we have learned that a solid understanding of these frameworks is essential for achieving sustainable progress. Feel free to contact us at 074-843-61688 if you need any help. We're always happy to assist. Thank you for your attention. See you next session.